This is a fantastic question. It's one that is very relevant to all of us, and I think it's also one we need to be honest about. There are going to be a real range of views on this question within the room. I'm from a Christian family. Within my own family, we have a range of views on this. There are certain members of my family who think women can be in leadership in the church and others who don't. And that's not because we don't take the Bible seriously. We all take it very seriously, but we come to understand some of these texts differently. And so that's an ongoing conversation we have. But I'm very, very grateful to be part of a family like that, because it means that I've come to see that you can hold different positions on this view and yet really love God and really love women. And I think that's the first thing I want to say. As you figure this one out, as you talk about it in your communities, do so with gentleness and respect. Listen to people, look at the text together, try and figure out together what is it the Bible is teaching on this topic. In regards to the comment about women being below men, the first thing I want to say is actually, the Bible is so clear that men and women are equal. And that's something that, particularly in our culture today, where I meet a lot of feminists who say, I can never believe the Bible, it's too sexist. It's really important for us to hold on to the fact that actually God made us both male and female within his image. The very first page of the Bible, and this is a radical declaration of gender equality, written at a time where it was highly unusual to even say something like that. And then again in the New Testament, somebody mentioned it earlier, where it says that male and female were all one in Jesus Christ. So from beginning to end of the Bible, God values men and women. Now, for those who take the position that they don't believe women should be in church leadership, it's not because they think that men and women aren't equal. They just think that actually God has made us different. And part of that difference is to do with the roles that he's given us. And one way you might think of this is in terms of the Trinity, that within the Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit all play different roles within, and yet there isn't a hierarchy there. They're still equal, and yet they have different parts to play. And so that would be the response for those who say, actually, there is a distinction made within the Bible. They'll normally look at a particular text in 1 Timothy 2, which says, I don't allow women to teach or have authority over a man. So that's, and then they'll point back to Eve as an example of the woman who sinned first. So that's often the crux text that this comes down to. For those who take the other position on this view, they would say, actually, no, when you read that text in context, 1 Timothy 2, it's actually talking about within the context of marriage, and it's more talking about a woman who isn't educated, who's trying to usurp authority over her husband and kind of domineer him inappropriately, and because she's not educated, she's guilty of false teaching, like Eve first was at the very beginning. So the point here is Paul is saying women need to be quiet and learn so that they know what they're talking about. So different views, go away and dig into the text, read it in your church communities, really ask God to help you to understand what he's saying through these texts. But above all, I just really want to affirm that actually we see women doing remarkable things throughout the New Testament within the church. So it's not just a case of, oh, well, women can't be involved or women can't sit on the committees. We have Lydia, who is hosting a house church in Acts. You have women who are praying and prophesying and having roles within the church, public roles all the time. We have the 4 unmarried daughters of Philip who are prophesying. You see women who are called deacons, which was certainly a position of leadership within the church, even if that's not necessarily a pastoral senior position. But you also, you have Priscilla and Aquila, who are a married couple, who we're told that Priscilla teaches Apollos. She actually teaches him from the Bible. They do that together as a couple. But interestingly, every time they're mentioned, Priscilla's mentioned first, which is really unusual in that culture to put the woman before the man, but may suggest actually she might have had a more senior role. And lastly, you also have Junia in Romans 16, a woman who's described as being outstanding among the apostles. And for a long time in history, some of the Bible translators were so uncomfortable with this idea that actually they changed the name to Junias to make it male. But actually, when you're reading the original text, it's clear that actually Junia is a female name. So lots to say there, but men and women alike, just be encouraged that actually whoever you are, God has a plan for your life, that he has a role for you. You are specifically made to take part in this amazing story that he's writing through history, and male and female, that is a privilege that we both have the opportunity to do that, however he might be calling us.